Snacks and water, by the way, over here.
It's really nice to be here today, and I have to say, listening to Nancy speak, I've got quite a warm feeling inside. A lot of emotions come up. So I wanted to try to give a sense of how our church, RBCPC, interacted and why it interacted with United Policyholders and how we interacted with the community. What we have at our church that I recognized, and I'm a 2003 Cedar Fire survivor, and that happened in Scripps Ranch, and our church is in Rancho Bernardo. So it really did not impact the church to a great extent. Maybe there were half a dozen of us or so. Certainly people were evacuated, but there weren't that many who actually lost their homes from RBCPC in 2003. And I had a wonderful outpouring of support. But really, it wasn't personal to people at RBCPC. In 2007, it was personal, and it had happened. So what I saw was an opportunity to create something better than what had happened for the 2003 folks at our church. And looking at the left, looking at the three pastoral ministries down to our multiple ministries in Karen, we had all this infrastructure in place. And I thought, let's leverage it, and let's bring it and create a recovery ministry. And right from the very beginning, our church was being close to the epicenter. We had community, government officials. I was at the very first meeting, behind the scenes, what do we do? And I realized at that meeting that nobody had any direct experience with this. So by that, I just kind of worked I decided I was going to become a leader of that program. And because of having the credibility of having gone through it, people let me do that. So our plan from the very beginning was just to come alongside members, people who are in this position. And we wanted to form one-to-one relationships. And it was very, very similar to what United Policyholders had set up with their mentor program. In other words, having people interacting on a very personal level. This is something that needs a lot of hand-holding. And of course, the entire community, even the world, gets involved immediately. And there's immediate things to be done. And I'm grateful for the Red Cross and all of the organizations that helped us. 3 months, 6 months, 24 months later, all the good feelings are there, but people are no longer involved. It's no longer in the news. And yet, I know it's going to take not 6 to 9 months. It took us 22 months. So we wanted a program that would be there from start to finish. Our church was donated approximately $300,000 from many, many locations, and it came in. So now we had this money, and we wanted to use it faithfully. And so that was a budget that I had to work with, and had to plan it out from the beginning to the end, how we would use that. And we used every penny of that for fire survivors. We didn't take any money for anything other than programs or services or gifts for fire survivors. And it so turned out that we developed a model. The roadmap to recovery did not exist before the 2007 Witch Creek fire, and we created this model as part of how we work together. Well, how do you know what to do? This is my family and friends. We know what to do because we were there. We know what it felt like. And it is an amazing initial experience that, I like to say to Nancy, join the club, get a hug. Nobody wants to be in the club, but if you're in the club, you get a hug. And you know, you're looking at the lucky chair there that stood next to the house while it burned and didn't go. So I decided for the rest of my life we're going to have the lucky chair in our house, because if you survive a fire, you get to stay. Because of this type of experience and understanding it, we were able, I think, this 2003 survivors to really have an impact on the 2007 class. So what did we do at RBCPC? The first thing we did was we organized our own programs, and all of these different groups, it's kind of like having a VOAD and a Red Cross and an office of county emergency, all in one organization, because we have all these ministries, multiple groups. And you know, this is a Presbyterian group, so they love committees and all this stuff. And they all have the way that they do it, but we now had to come together as a big group to work together. So that was a major effort. The second bullet, people like Karen Weemis, who was a 2003 fire survivor, and my neighbor. I knew Karen, I knew of her work. I'd been to many meetings with her. I thought, Karen's somebody I'd like to work with. We could do something. We had our own synergies, and I thought we could leverage that, and that's what we did. And I thought we could use our church not to reinvent the wheel. We didn't really even understand on a large-scale recovery sense how the wheel would go, but we could leverage what we have going to church and then work with others and not reinvent that wheel from that perspective. There was an awful lot of inventing going on, though, because it was an unprecedented experience for us as well. I think the real key, though, were the relationships that we already had in place. And that's something, how do you plan for that? We just happen to all live very closely together. So it's great. One thing that's great about this today is I didn't know Marion, and I don't know many of the folks here. I was incredibly involved with my church in 2007, and that was a full-time job, including my regular job. 2003, I was on the architectural board of my homeowners association. We lost 169 out of 315 homes. So I didn't work with community organizations. I worked with my community organization, and I had my own house to rebuild. And one reason our HOA was successful in terms of rebuilding is that every member of our committee lost a home. So we were all very committed to helping people get back. And we understood what it meant. And during the Rancho Bernardo fire, there were pockets. There were many homes that were in pockets. There were a few homes. And so the whole group didn't understand it. It wasn't real to all of them. And we were fortunate that we all had a common bond. But we leveraged those. And looking under the bullet, I really wanted to invite a unique collaboration between RBCPC and UP in general, specifically. UP had the insurance and the recovery expertise dealing with disasters. Our church did not have it. They had this one-to-one coming alongside concept as well. Different than ours, but very real. One of the members of our congregation who takes care of families, she thought, we need to have, for every fire family that wants it, have some family or person come alongside with them and commit from the beginning to the end. So we had a very similar, analogous type of a situation with that. And of course we had tremendous resources at our church. You've seen our sanctuary in the slides that Nancy showed, but we've got many more. And then we had fire experience, the kind that, the trial by fire concept that we had. And we had all these synergies bringing us together, and that's what we did. And we were committed and resourced because we didn't want to finish until everybody was back home. And I think that was a real strength of our program. So what does it mean to come alongside? Because we had to try to figure that out. Well, we wanted to create this home base. It's a church, but we wanted to make it homey. We always had coffee available. I don't drink coffee either, by the way. Only later in life am I beginning to appreciate it. But people who smoke and eat, they all need places to drink, all of that kind of thing, and we wanted to have those things available. We really focused on relationships. This was the end of October. And by the way, the Cedar Fire and the Witch Creek fires happened almost the same week. So it was incredibly real to me what happens in October and November and December. So Christmas is coming up. Our church organizes tremendous Christmas bazaar. They lost all of their special ornaments and things like that. So places you could come and celebrate the holidays at a time when you were really sad inside. We do have tremendous facilities. We have a kitchen staff. We have a cook staff. We have childcare. We have lots of things, and we use them And then we created a budget, probably early in 2008, where we had dinner, we had free meals twice a month before one of the roadmap to recovery meetings, just so people would come and, you know, we tried to serve comfort food and make it a very social place where people could come. We created some supportive materials, and I've got a copy of a pamphlet that we made. We honored special events, and we considered that we would be done when people went home. That was our goal.